a little bit easier politically. You know, you can talk about jobs and new investment and all this kind of stuff that's really attractive politically. It's scary. You get a lot more opposition when you start saying all of these different agencies, you're all going to need to change your power, you know, the way you do things. You know, the labor secretary needs to change labor policy. You know, that's a challenge politically. So a lot of times, you know, we use names because it's sort of politically expedient to use that name. But sometimes you can get a lot done also, even under a name.
And that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. And actually, this is why the term special economic zone is used so much for things that are just like single company tax breaks. You know, they'll designate one company a special economic zone. This happens a lot because it sounds attractive, you know, to call something a special economic zone. It makes for good publicity and everything. And you know, so a lot of this is just sort of branding anyway. And it's hard to, you know, we use the term special economic zone to describe these kind of things like what Shenzhen was, so they're really progressive in terms of the policies that they change. But one of the byproducts of that is Shenzhen was so massively successful that every country now wants to say, we're going to build a special economic zone. And look at Shenzhen, look how great it was. And even though they're not really doing anything else except, you know, a tax holiday for 10 years or something.
So I think it'd be awesome if Chris Peterson, the creator of open source, also gave us a new term here. So,
Sounds like that's not it though.
But were you saying reform? So you're saying a special reform zone?
Special policy zone.
Policy zone? All right, let me just observe, I think that's worth pursuing, but maybe special is the problem. Special is not always good. You know, people say, well, you're special.
Startup
Society.
Yeah, how about startup societies?
Startup societies, I like that, we've heard.
I think it's useful to look at what's arguably the most successful example, even if it wasn't successful, which is Paul Romer's charter cities. I mean, he was able to get further, I believe, than any current project has, or any other past project has in the last 20 or so years. And I believe framing matters. My preferred term is free cities, and the defining characteristic is essentially substantial legal autonomy from the government, and or you could say deep economic reforms, right? To have basically the legal foundation that can attract capital and create growth, and then the city aspect is also important because cities are mixed use. You don't just want a single industry because that will only achieve level effects. It's not going to achieve the growth effects that are necessary for countries to escape from poverty.
Hey, Brad. Yes. Yeah, what's your question?
So my question is specifically, so I had support from the state chancellor's office and from California legislature. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good question.
And from the California legislator to turn California community college into free trade zones for intellectual property. And I'm kind of at a point where specifically we focus on US-based companies, but I'm at a point where I'm stuck for information in looking for policy. How I progress in writing the policy to submit to the California legislator, and where California's legislative limits lie before I have to take it federally.
So I'm going to repeat the question. Brad is working on a project to create free trade zones in colleges in California, especially relating to regulations such as intellectual property, so that you can have a more innovative campus. And he is wondering what sort of steps and things he could do to help increase the success of his efforts.
So you want to create sort of special zones for intellectual property in California? There's not a lot you can do under California law. You have to worry about patent and copyrights primarily, and that's federal law. And there's no way a state can say federal law doesn't apply in our territory. Now, if you want to talk about going after intellectual property at the federal level, I mean, you should talk. I'd be excited about that. Also, don't leave out data protection. I've actually seen a proposal recently for someone who has to work under the data protection rules, the privacy rules of the EU, saying, how about if we create some special kind of virtual zones where you can actually have a business model that doesn't require you to let your customers into your database? Can we just try that? So I like what you're working with, and I don't know how it's going to work with intellectual property under California law, though. You get trade secrets, right of publicity. Yeah, that's about it. Trademarks.
I'm probably grossly butchering it, so you have to ask Brad. Okay, next question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we lost one of the mics.
How big people you
Yeah, you're the anyway. I was wondering, what are some of the main obstacles that you faced in trying to pitch this idea to people, both to businesses, individuals, and people who actually want to.
So I'm going to repeat the question. So when telling people about special economic zones and these ideas, what is the main pushback and counter arguments that people make when you tell them about zones?
And how can you overcome it?
And how do you overcome it? How about, I know that you like debating a lot.
Well, actually, this gentleman has launched the zone. Can I pass it to him? Because you had to argue with people, right?
Well, in the case, again, I think I live in a happy land. The people, okay. So, I received just good answer in our country, and I think it's because it's a very new idea, different, totally different, and even surprised the government, because we didn't ask the favor from the government. We just did it. And the result was so good that the government started copying. And I think it's a special economic zone. That's the reason. Maybe the second one will be different, because now the government wants to copy style and put it in another place. Maybe the result will not be the same. But in our case, it was a nice surprise.
So it sounds like you didn't have to deal with the arguments because you just did it. I will say that one problem I faced is a lot of people associate this with radical libertarian ideas. Okay with me, okay with about 2% of the population. About everybody else, they say, oh, you want to do some radical Ayn Randian Gulch Gulch thing. And honestly, for a lot of this population, I can't say no. I have to say there are many people interested in those ideas, and then I have to shift and talk about the broader implications. And it's some work. I'm starting down the hole. That's why I try to not lead with that, but people, if they've heard about it, they've heard of that.
I should also point you to go buy Lotto Moberg's book, because it's all about political economy, special economic zones, and types of things. But one of the things in that book, and something that I've faced a lot, is there's always an argument, and for good reason, from industries that are not going to be in the special economic zone, that, hey, why are you giving them all this great treatment and not us? And that's not fair, and you're putting us at a competitive disadvantage because they're getting the customs exemptions, tax breaks, different regulatory regime, all that kind of stuff. And so the other companies, understandably so, think that's unfair. And the way to put that from sort of like an economist's perspective is it causes market distortions. It's like you've said this location is going to be more advantageous for doing business, not because of any kind of natural advantage it has, but purely because of something that's been done by government. So that's an argument that's dealt with a lot.
Any questions?
Can anyone speak to the concept of the consent of the governed in these zones?
Can anyone speak to the question of consent of the governed in these zones?
It depends on the zone. A lot of zones have no residents, only businesses, and the businesses voluntarily opt in. The projects that I want to work on are only projects where people who want to be residents would voluntarily move and opt in. And so I think that if all of your residents and all of your businesses have chosen to live there, then you have unanimous consent, to use James Buchanan's phrase, which is far better than almost any existing political body.
Next question.
Hi, I was wondering, so a lot of what we've talked about is about physical economic zones, and I was wondering if there was any work, especially connected with the blockchain space, about kind of more virtual economic zones. How would you carve out an area that the SEC isn't going to try to influence things like that?
Does anyone want to take this?
Well, as I said, I heard a proposal recently for special virtual zones. I haven't yet seen how they plan to limit access. However you do it, for it to have a border, it's a special area, there has to be a border, there has to be a way to keep people out. I'm sure you can do that online. I haven't seen that done yet, but it occurs to me another project I mentioned earlier, working with some people that have e-government built, the same problem, and they'll have a similar solution. And that'll be basically, really, it's, you folks can figure out. The goal is not just to create e-government for a particular physical jurisdiction. That's your toehold in this world. But from there, just like say Estonia has created, e-citizenship, you open up the doors to, pretty much everybody, and then anybody anywhere who's under a bad government can take their banking, their legal disputes, almost everything in their lives, they can take out of a local jurisdiction and come join the rest of us in a better virtual world. That's the goal.
Last question.
Yeah, this kind of talks about how, on the one hand, you want to go really deep with how different these economic zones are from the typical laws of the region. But then Victor also said that you want to be able to get the consent of the government. But then you were also kind of saying that you did it without getting the consent of the government. Can you talk a little bit about the balance between going deep enough to make a difference and still being able to get along?
Well, remember in my case, I came from a really poor country, small country, and we have just 4 million people, and that's the reason that I think it's a special case. We have to take a look at that, because I think what's really surprised, we are, when I say that we are far away from the capital, it's because even the topography didn't permit that we could have a special communication. When 15 years ago we were to the government, they told us, okay, you don't have internet, you don't have road to the port, you don't have airport, you don't have electricity, potential electricity. So you have to look the way to work in agriculture or something else. And the group, the people inspire and say, okay, that's now the answer that we're looking for. And we start. I think that's the way, because what's something different, the government didn't expect, I think, most of our answer, and that's the reason that they're surprised. Even we are surprised. I'm working 25, 30 years, building projects, tourist project, energy project, and 5 years ago I say, okay, this is working, this is going on, so I'm going to be part of it. And right now we are right into the goal, and that's the reason that I say it's different. And the government now they are putting the rules to another specific special zone. Maybe the result will be different, but we have to take advantage of what we practice.
And I have one last concluding question that I'd like all of you guys to explore. And there's a lot of young people in this audience. So what advice would you give to somebody in their early 20s who wants to make the world a better place and give to the special economic zone industry and maybe make a fortune while they're at it? So, start with Mark.
I gave this advice to somebody earlier, and I'm sure Tom and Michael will have additional thoughts, but go to law school. Right now, there's lots of people who like talking about these ideas and like exploring these ideas. There are not very many people, at least in this space, who have the practical knowledge and abilities to basically make these a reality. That means drafting the relevant legislation, drafting the laws for the zone, coming up with the contracts the lease contracts to govern the residents of the zone. And all of these things are new, and all of these things need to be done. And in terms of practical experience, that is going to be much better than becoming very good at talking about these things.
Well, I have to say I met Thibaut 3 months ago in a World Congress in Colombia, and I was really surprised because this young man was there, and most of the people were 30, 40, but I realized that, okay, the new generation, people 20s are shaping the world, and I was so excited to come here because I know that California is a special place, and in Costa Rica we saw, and we have some example of young people, like my son is here, Marco. He is working in a company, technology company, that are exporting software to California, from Costa Rica to California. That's really amazing for me. And I feel that I'm so lucky because I'm living in a special generation that maybe in 1,000 years, we're going to be an example in the story of the human, because we are really living a change, a big change. We are now talking about the soft internet, the things of internet. That's something amazing. And to the young people, I just have to say that go ahead. You have the power, you have the knowledge, and you have the time. And well, I just glad to be part of this Congress, and know about this is perfect.
It's funny, Mark, the economist, said that you should go to law school. I was thinking the opposite. But I think if you want to make a lot of money in it, because that was one thing, and probably get involved in like building stuff right away, you want to work in like real estate development or something, you know, like work for one of these firms, get whatever education you need in order to work for one of these firms that's doing like mega urban development projects and stuff, which there are many. And there's Mark and I were just in South Korea at a conference that was all for like greenfield city developments, cities built out of scratch. So they're out there. No, that's because essentially all these new city projects, these startup city projects we're talking about, we're really talking about the combination of two fields. One is real estate development, large-scale urban development projects, and the other side is legal, regulatory, governance type stuff. And we're just kind of like, it's a hybrid, like we're pushing both of them together. And I come at it from like a legal, regulatory, policy type side. And if you're more interested in that stuff, then yeah, law school, and you should have like, you should have a fascination with the way government works, what policy aims to do, what regulation aims to do, how it could be improved. Some of the stuff we've heard earlier is, that's the kind of stuff you really have to be really fascinated with, the nitty-gritty, nuts and bolts stuff, and then hopefully try to work in it. You know, we'll figure out how the sausage gets made and all the stuff that it's kind of ugly we don't want to look at. Or you should be, have like a nerdy interest in law. So yeah.
I too would not have said law school. That's interesting. Although it occurs to me, Michael and I are super busy. There's like 2, 3 people in the world who do this stuff. So I could use some help. Yeah. But law school takes a long time. I would say find the thing you love already. If you found that, you haven't, keep looking. And find the angle. So, for example, if you're into marine biology, we can use you, seasteading. And if you're into cooking biscuits, I don't know, there's some place for you, really. I would also say, find people your age, your peers, who are doing awesome work already, who are making things happen now. It suppresses me so much. I run into these people who are like half my age and kicking my ass. It's great. It's how it should be. Keep it up. Don't make me look too bad. Deep reading. I got a book coming out. Lada's had her book referred to a couple times. The reason Michael and I do this, the reason we can do it, is we have deep knowledge, frankly. We have spent years studying this. It's a rich field, and you're already doing great because you're here, or you're watching online. And just do more of this. And you're actually going to have to pick up physical books, or I don't know, maybe audio books someday. I don't know if your book a lot of it. I'm going to record mine. Anyhow, research, get that depth of knowledge, because this is a new field, but we need a lot of old solutions. We kind of forgot how to do small-scale societies. It's a new renaissance. We need new renaissance people. That takes a lot of learning. So, get started and enjoy. It's super fun. Michael's going to be awesome.
Okay, let's give a round of applause to our panel.
Well, thank you so much. And again, these gentlemen will be around if you want to ask them any more questions, then please do. Please make the most of them being here. So you actually have a few minutes while we wait for everyone to come back from the outbreak sessions. So you will need to be back here at 3 p.m. on the dot. We're going to start. So feel free to go and grab some water or anything that you want to grab, and then we'll meet back here at 3. And take this time while you're having a little bit of a break. Please do use our decentralized gold hashtag. We are having a competition, so best tweets, best photos, best videos that you guys post, and you add the hashtag decentralized gold, and that's GOV without the T. We are giving away a copy of John Chisholm's books. We actually have 7 copies of that. They're signed. We'll be giving away 7 today, 7 tomorrow. We're also giving away mugs, and we're giving away t-shirts. So get online, get engaged on social media, and I look forward to reading your tweets.
Wait, so we need. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.